Like David, go after God's heart by trusting, relying, and have confidence in Him. This comes only by personally experiencing His presence. The rewards are well worth it. Top of the morning to you. So, when we read Psalm 21 with the eyes of love, we discover some great attributes of our God as demonstrated through King David. David, as the psalmist, has documented for us these attributes to show us what we can expect of God to do for us, especially in our time of need. David not only shares what happened in his relationship with the Lord, whom God called a man after his own heart in Acts 13:22, but he shares how these actions made him feel. For example, in verse 1 of Psalm 21, David experienced God's strength and salvation firsthand, and it made him feel joy to the point that he rejoiced in God. David experienced God's goodness in verse 2 when he acknowledged God gave him his heart's desire and answered his prayer request. David enjoyed God's splendor and majesty when God helped him in his time of need. Not only did David receive God's blessing, but he gave blessings in return to others in verse 6. God's presence in David's life made David exceedingly glad. What was David's secret? In verse 7, he tells us how he trusted, relied, and had great confidence in the Lord because he experienced personally God's mercy and love to the point that he declares he will never be moved. Together, the Lord and David ended up defeating God's enemy, verse 9, who in verse 11 planned evil against God. As a result of all that happened in verses 1 through 12, David was able to declare in verse 13, "Be exalted, O Lord, in your strength we will sing and praise your power." Word of encouragement for us, God is no respecter of persons, Acts 10:34. When we trust, rely, and gain confidence in the Lord, we too can experience God's strength, salvation, goodness, splendor, majesty, blessings, and favor that David enjoyed. Have a great day.